What if the greatest treasure in American history has never been found? Not because it is impossible to reach, but because no one can read the map. Imagine discovering 3 pages filled with hundreds of mysterious numbers. No names, no directions, no explanation. Just endless rows of carefully written digits. At first glance, they appear meaningless. Yet, according to one extraordinary story, those numbers conceal the location of a treasure worth millions. A fortune buried nearly 2 centuries ago, hidden somewhere among the rolling hills of Virginia. And despite generations of treasure hunters, cryptographers, historians, and mathematicians, 2 of the 3 ciphers remain unsolved. This is the mystery of the Beale Ciphers. Our story begins in the early 19th century. America was still a young nation. The western frontier remained largely unexplored. Adventurers crossed mountains. Trappers searched remote forests. Prospectors dreamed of discovering gold beyond the horizon. It was an age when fortunes could appear almost overnight. According to the legend, one of those adventurers was a man named Thomas J. Beale. Very little can be verified about his life. No confirmed portrait exists. Few official records mention him. That uncertainty has only deepened the mystery. The story claims that in 1817, Beale led a group of explorers westward from Virginia. Their goal was simple: adventure, opportunity, and perhaps fortune. After months of travel, the expedition reportedly reached the Rocky Mountains. There, by pure chance, they discovered an incredibly rich deposit of gold and silver. The find was astonishing. The group spent many months extracting precious metals from the remote site. They returned again the following year, and then once more. Each journey added more wealth to their growing fortune. By the end of the expeditions, they supposedly possessed thousands of pounds of gold, silver, and valuable jewels. Transporting such wealth across the frontier was dangerous. Bandits, accidents, political uncertainty. Every mile increased the risk of losing everything. Beale needed a safer solution. According to the legend, he secretly buried the treasure somewhere in Bedford County, Virginia. The location was chosen carefully, far from busy roads, hidden among hills and forests, known only to a handful of trusted companions. But Beale understood something else. Even trusted men could die unexpectedly. Memories fade, secrets disappear. He needed a way to preserve the location without revealing it. His solution was unlike anything anyone expected. Instead of drawing a map, he created 3 encrypted documents, 3 separate ciphers. The first would describe the exact location of the treasure. The second would list everything buried inside. The third would identify the rightful owners and their heirs. Separating the information made the system remarkably secure. Even if one cipher were discovered, the others would still protect the secret. Before leaving Virginia once again, Beale entrusted a locked iron box to an innkeeper named Robert Morris. He gave only one instruction: keep the box safe. If he failed to return after several years, a trusted friend would arrive with the key needed to understand its contents. Morris agreed. Years passed. Then more years. Thomas J. Beale never returned. No messenger arrived. No letter explained what had happened. The iron box remained locked, waiting, silent, its owner seemingly lost to history. Eventually, after decades of waiting, Morris made a difficult decision. He opened the box himself. Inside, he discovered several letters, and 3 pages unlike anything he had ever seen. Each page contained hundreds of carefully written numbers, no words, no obvious pattern, no explanation. Only columns of mysterious figures stretching from top to bottom. Morris immediately realized they were encoded. But encoded using what? A simple substitution cipher? A secret alphabet? A mathematical formula? No one knew. What he held in his hands could have been worthless, or it could have been the key to one of the greatest hidden fortunes in history. The challenge had only just begun, because solving the codes would prove far more difficult than anyone imagined. Robert Morris stared at the pages for years. Rows upon rows of numbers. Some repeated. Others appeared only once. There were no symbols, no punctuation, no obvious clue pointing toward a solution. At first, he believed the code might be simple. Perhaps each number represented a letter, or maybe every sequence corresponded to a word. He tried countless combinations. Nothing worked. Years passed. Still, the ciphers refused to reveal their secret. Eventually, the documents were passed to another man whose identity remains uncertain. Unlike Morris, he was fascinated by cryptography. He believed every code could be broken if the correct key was found. He spent months studying the strange lists of numbers. One evening, he noticed something unusual. The numbers seemed far too large for a simple substitution cipher. Many exceeded 100. Some were well over 500. That observation led him to an important idea. Perhaps the numbers did not represent letters. Perhaps they represented words inside another document. This technique is known as a book cipher. In a book cipher, both the writer and the reader possess the same book. Each number points to a specific word, or sometimes the first letter of a specific word. Without the correct book, the code appears impossible to read. The challenge now became finding that book. The anonymous codebreaker tested dozens of possibilities. The Bible, historical documents, popular books of the time. None produced meaningful text. Then, almost by accident, he tried one of America's most famous documents, the Declaration of Independence. Suddenly, something remarkable happened. One entire cipher began producing complete English sentences. It was the second cipher. For the first time in decades, part of the mystery had been unlocked. The decoded message described the treasure itself. According to the text, the buried cache contained thousands of pounds of gold, thousands of pounds of silver, and valuable jewels collected during the expeditions. Its estimated value, even in the 19th century, was enormous. Today, it would be worth many millions of dollars. The discovery electrified treasure hunters. If one cipher had been solved, perhaps the others could be solved as well. Attention immediately turned toward the first cipher. Surely it would reveal the exact location. Researchers applied the same key. Nothing. The text remained meaningless. They tried the Declaration of Independence again, using different editions, different spellings, different numbering methods. Still nothing. The third cipher proved equally stubborn. It refused every attempt at decryption. For more than a century, professional cryptographers joined the search. Military code experts examined the documents. University mathematicians analyzed statistical patterns. Computer scientists built software capable of testing millions of combinations. The result was always the same. Cipher 2 could be read. Cipher 1 and Cipher 3 remained silent. This created an even greater mystery. If all three ciphers were created by the same person, why would only one be solvable? Some researchers believe the wrong key is being used. Others argue that different books were intended for each cipher. A few suggest that parts of the original code may have been copied incorrectly before publication. Even a single missing number or one misplaced digit could make an entire cipher impossible to solve. As the years passed, another question began to emerge. What if the ciphers were never meant to be solved at all? What if the treasure story itself was part of the mystery? The search was no longer only about hidden gold. It had become a challenge that attracted historians, cryptographers, mathematicians, and dreamers from around the world. And despite generations of effort, the two remaining codes continued to guard their secret. Nearly 2 centuries have passed, and the Beale ciphers remain one of the greatest unsolved puzzles in American history. Today, the search continues in a very different way. Instead of handwritten notes and magnifying glasses, researchers now use powerful computers. Artificial intelligence analyzes patterns. Cryptographers test millions of possible keys. Statistical software compares the ciphers against thousands of historical books. Every new technology brings renewed hope, yet the result remains the same. Cipher 1, the message believed to reveal the treasure's location, has never been conclusively decrypted. Cipher 3, which supposedly identifies the owners and their descendants, also remains unsolved. Only the second cipher continues to stand as the lone breakthrough. That fact has divided historians. Some believe the treasure is real. They argue that the solved second cipher is too detailed to be a simple invention. Others remain skeptical. No confirmed record proves that Thomas J. Beale ever existed exactly as the story describes. Many official documents from the period make no mention of the treasure expedition. Some researchers even suggest the entire tale was created to sell books in the late 19th century. If that were true, the Beale Papers would represent one of history's most successful literary hoaxes. Yet even that explanation leaves unanswered questions. Why create 3 elaborate ciphers? Why make one of them genuinely solvable while leaving the others undeciphered? And if it was only a hoax, why has no one ever demonstrated exactly how the remaining 2 codes were constructed? Perhaps the greatest mystery is not whether the treasure exists. Perhaps the greatest mystery is the ciphers themselves. Every few years, a new headline appears. Treasure finally found. Code solved. New evidence discovered. Each announcement captures worldwide attention, and almost every time, the claims fail under careful examination. The mystery survives, not because people stop searching, but because every new clue creates even more questions. Imagine for a moment that cipher 1 is finally decoded. A precise location appears: a hillside in Virginia, a forgotten valley, an old oak tree. Would treasure still be waiting there after 200 years? Or would explorers discover nothing at all? That uncertainty is part of what makes the Beale Ciphers so compelling. They challenge our curiosity, our logic, our imagination. They remind us that some of history's greatest adventures begin not with a map, but with a question. As the forests of Virginia grow and change with each passing season, somewhere beneath the soil, there may be nothing more than ordinary earth. Or perhaps, hidden beyond sight, rests a fortune that has escaped every treasure hunter for generations. Until the remaining ciphers are solved, no one can know for certain. The Beale Ciphers have become more than a treasure legend. They have become a symbol of humanity's endless desire to solve the impossible. Because sometimes, the greatest prize is not gold. It is the mystery itself. And until the final code is broken, the Beale Ciphers will continue to challenge every generation that dares to ask, what if the treasure is still there?